Freespace overview, and now, apparently Command has been looking more into the Tomba attack and how the Shivans could have possibly tracked the Tyrannus. Remember the Tyrannus? Yeah, that was a great. That was a that operation went off without a hitch, didn't it?
No, it kind of failed, but anyway, apparently they've been tracking it through subspace, which is interesting because before we didn't know you could even do that.
Something they actually found out worse while they were tracking it through subspace is that the Lucifer is not just resistant to our weapons; it's actually flat out impervious to our weapons.
Yeah. Things are looking pretty dire on that front.
And with it having fully taken Vega, there's only 2 jumps left to get to Vasuta Prime, which will only be a short couple jumps to Earth at that point.
Yeah, right now they're trying to... The GTA is trying to bolster the forces that are in Antares and Beta Oculi. They're sending the Bash into Antares, and they're sending the Galatea to Beta Oculi.
Yeah.
And you get what I would say is probably the best fighter in this game.
Man, you don't mess with the Hercules.
Everything about it is perfect. It's not the fastest thing, but it carries a good payload. It's fast enough for dogfighting, and it can actually take on pretty much anything that you throw at it.
Yeah, it really is my favorite fighter in the game.
Extremely versatile.
Yeah, definitely. People might disagree with us because I've heard some people say that it controls like a brick, and I'm like, I have to strongly disagree with you. I really do.
It's not quite a brick. I think a brick is the Athena, because the Athena is to me where it gets to the point where you can't dogfight it.
Yeah.
You also get the synaptic bomb, which is it's an interesting little bomb because it's not like a conventional missile where you fire and it hits a target. And actually, you fire it, it explodes, and then a whole bunch of smaller missiles come out and seek towards a target, which is interesting. But personally, I never used it much because I like knowing where my weapon is going.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. I think I might have used it once, then never used it again.
Yeah. Personally, I think the other weapons are more effective overall.
Yeah, definitely.
This mission is it seems pretty straightforward. You go to check out some sentry guns.
Yeah.
And defend and help get the Galatea out of here. You kind of defend it, pretty much.
Basically, we're defending it on its way to Beta Oculi, which we did reference before. And it seems pretty straightforward so far.
So after I look at my weapons loadout to make sure I have what I want. Actually, the only thing I changed was put Phoenix 5 missiles in, but that's not really that significant.
Yeah, man, Phoenix 5, best in the world.
You'll see why I chose to do that before.
Well, that's more appropriate. Best in the galaxy.
Yeah. Well, you see here, I mess around with my shield engine and stuff, but that's just something I was messing around with. The keys originally for my original keyboard had them actually lined up, but for the keyboard I have now, they're kind of in a strange place. But
it's amazing how a game can be made weird when you have a different keyboard.
Yeah. I should have changed those controls because it's simpler to do if I just use my joystick. But
actually, it's funny because my laptop doesn't even have a keypad, so I actually had to buy a separate keypad just to make it less awkward to play Freespace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had to do
that.
Yeah, I did. So how about that mission?
Oh yeah, I'm slowly, eventually going to get to that sentry gun.
Yep. Slow and steady wins the race, everybody. Yeah, let's skip right to it then.
So you scan it. Turns out the Hammer of Light has actually gone and reprogrammed them.
Oh man, those crafty Hammer of Light.
Which again shows off what the Hammer of Light, how they fight really. It's very unique and guerrilla type. It's not direct at all for the most part.
They're crafty, I'll give them that. Though sadly, sentry guns aren't that effective.
Yeah, not really.
They're there, but they're kind of more of a comfort item than anything else according to ourselves.
I think they could do damage en masse or with some support, but alone, they're really not worth talking about.
Yeah, especially when we have shields.
Yeah, pre-shields, they're actually living things.
Yeah.
So you kill the fighters that the Sins have, and some of them leave. Can't avoid that. And then the Galatea comes in, and this is where the Hammer of Light starts getting interesting. They start sending in bombers, which... Here's the reason I chose the Phoenix 5. The Phoenix 5 can pretty much kill any bomber in the game in one hit. Especially if you fire 2 of them, like I always do. I always have my weapon set to dual to make sure I do extra damage. I actually did not remember this mission. I had a feeling that there were going to be some bombers. I just decided to go ahead and try it out. Plus, the Phoenix 5 is faster than most heavier missiles, so it actually can hit lighter fighters as well. So I was like, why not?
Yeah. Now, something like that actually comes in pretty handy with this mission in particular, because this is the mission where the Hammer of Light just start going kamikaze.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's a tactic that you never see in the game before, and I'm not quite sure you actually have seen in the Terran Vasudin War.
Now, something I would like to note, there's a Taurus wing, which confused me a little bit at first, because I thought, like, wait, Taurus, but I thought it was destroyed back, like, way earlier in the game. But no, they have a wing called Taurus, and they had a cruiser called Taurus. Okay, okay.
Not as creative on name, but
I'm just saying, students need to step it up on their names, okay? Step it up.
well, right now, you go after the fighters, you try to stop the kamikazes. I actually failed horribly at that for the most part. I was pretty lazy on it, other than firing some missiles and trying to kill them. I ended up not getting as many kamikazes as I probably should have if I weren't as lazy.
There is a point when an A-10 cruiser comes in, which is called the Mauler, and it tries to go kamikaze on the Galate too.
Yeah, I actually concentrated on the fighters and told all my wingmen to attack it. After I dispatched the fighters and I saw how close it was and that my wingmen hadn't done anything, I decided I should probably go help them out. It pretty much just hits the Galate. It doesn't do too much damage because I think we killed it. I'm not sure what happened there.
The way it looks, and the fact that the Galate wasn't damaged that much, I get the feeling that what happened was the Galate was only hit by the shockwave, but it wasn't actually hit by the explosion, because it doesn't take much damage from the A-10 cruiser. So I think you destroyed it just before it made contact.
Yeah.
Just before.
You can see its health going to 0. After that, the Galate jumps out, and then you're given new orders, it's one of those missions where you don't actually go back home, you're just given new orders and told to go somewhere.
So hope you have hull integrity going into the next mission.
Yeah, I'm at 92, so yeah, it's fine. This mission's actually pretty interesting. It's not one of the extremely big, heavy story missions, but it does kind of show you a couple things that you might not have seen before from the Shivans.
Yeah, you know what the thing about this is, they just leave. You see them. The Eva just jumps out the moment you get there, which is a Demon class destroyer, by the way, and then the transports just leave their cargo behind and jump out, and that's it. And you're like, okay, we'll go recover it.
I actually, in this mission, I managed to head up and get scans of the freighters, because I thought that would be important. It ends up not really mattering all too much.
Yeah.
And your objector destroy. I ended up not getting everything destroyed. I didn't destroy any freighters, but I scanned and destroyed the transports, which I thought was significant. The other is a minor secondary objective, and I thought it was more critical to get the scans, because sometimes you get bonus stuff for scans, like rank ups and medals and such. So.
Yeah. Now, as time goes on, eventually the area is clear, and your own transports come in, and they attempt to take the cargo. Now, when the first one attaches, it doesn't work out too well, and the cargo explodes, and the transport is just destroyed. The second one, which is the stern, actually refuses the orders to dock because it doesn't see the point in risking the lives of him and his crew. Command tells Alpha 1 to scan it, or, well, Command tells you to scan the cargo container. It seems normal, but then once the stern attaches, it explodes.
This part's a bit interesting to me, because they don't really bring this up again, other than in the debriefing saying that they got 2 pieces of cargo. I'm curious to what actually happened, why the explosions were there. Were they just rigged?
Yeah, like, not only do they not follow up on why they exploded, but they don't follow up on what the purpose of taking the cargo was in the first place. We never really learn.
But it's interesting, because this is intelligence. This is GTI.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Very good point. Foreshadowing.
It's interesting because they never follow it. You don't know why it exploded. And my first thought was, oh, they just booby-trapped it. But then I kind of have to go back and think, well, did they know you were coming?
Yeah.
When did they do this?
Like, did they really just take these cargo containers all the way out here just to drop them off so you pick them up?
I mean,
it seems like a huge waste of time just to destroy 2 transports. Not even like they really set a trap either. They just destroyed the transports and that's it.
I mean, casualty-wise, if you look at it, you did lose some people. You lost most of Beta, you lost half of Delta, one of Alpha, but in the end, I think the Shivans lost way more in this.
Yeah.
Unless you count the transports, which I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know how many are on it, but you probably lost a decent amount of people there.
But even then, they're not really military critical. No offense to anybody who died in that transport, but I'm sorry, you're not as important as Alpha 1.
Yeah. And plus, the Shivans lost 2 transports as well, so it's not like it was kind of a fair trade in the end, even though I still think the net loss was more on them.
Yeah, really. And more so for the Hammer of Light.
Yeah.
Because they kind of had, like, a net loss of everything.
The Hammer of Light just... That's a whole nother thing. The Hammer of Light doesn't seem to care about death as much as the other factions.
Yeah.
Except for the Shivans. But we don't quite know what the Shivans actually believe, but that's a whole nother thing. Because we really don't know much about them.
So we go ahead and jump out. And in the debriefing, which as referenced before, they talk about what happened, but once again, never referenced again. He gets the good conduct medal. And Shell Game is over.
That pretty much wraps it up for this episode. Pretty uneventful, I'll be honest.
Yeah. You can always expect things to be uneventful with the Hammer of Light. Okay, that's not true.
But like we said, the last few missions have been more of an intermission before you get back into the real story.
And things have been too quiet lately, and you know what? The Shivans, unless we really get a strong force set against them, the Shivans have a good chance of just advancing more and more and more, unless we can find a way to stop the Lucifer.
Yeah, hopefully we can stop them before they head into Vasuda, which is...
it's a home planet.
Yeah, imagine someone coming and just destroying Earth.
I can imagine it happens in like every summer movie.
Oh, well.
I'm sorry.
I guess it does. But whatever, anyway, we'll be back with episode 9.
Yep, episode 9.
Yeah.
Losing track of time in here, people.
Episode 9, the last Star Wars movie I'll probably ever not like. Anyway, yeah, episode 9.
Farewell.